What is non-self? The truth behind the illusion of I. Have you ever asked yourself, who am I? A question that seems simple, yet has made countless sages, philosophers, and seekers spend their whole lives searching for an answer. Some think they are this body. Some believe they are their emotions, thoughts, or memories collected over the years. But the Buddha, the fully awakened one, revealed a very different truth. There is no fixed self. There is no independent I that truly exists. Everything we call me is just a temporary combination of conditions, arising and passing away in every moment. Nothing is solid. Nothing is permanent. This is the essence of non-self, one of the three marks of existence, the seals that define the true teaching of the Buddha. Look closely at this body. We often think, this is my body. I own it. I control it. But do we really? Can we stop our hair from turning gray? Can we command our skin not to wrinkle, or our eyes not to grow dim? Can we order our heart to stop beating, or to beat forever? If there were truly an independent self within, we should be able to control all changes, all decay. But this body is merely a gathering of the elements: earth, water, fire, and air. When conditions come together, it appears. When conditions fall apart, it dissolves. So this, my body, is just a temporary borrowing from the universe. Nothing to cling to, nothing that truly belongs to us. The Buddha taught that this body and mind are made of 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Form is the physical body. Feeling is the sensations that arise. Perception is the act of recognizing. Mental formations are the thoughts and habits that move us. Consciousness is the awareness that knows. These 5 come together like many small streams forming a single river. They are always changing, never the same from one moment to the next. So this self is only a name, a convention, not a fixed reality. It's like when we call something a car. In truth, the car is just a collection of wheels, an engine, a frame, and seats. Take all the parts apart, and the car disappears. The I works the same way. It has no separate, unchanging core. There is a story from the Buddha's time. A young man came to him and asked, "If there is no self, then who feels pain and who practices the path to liberation?" The Buddha smiled, pointed to a burning torch nearby, and said, "Do you see that flame? It burns because of wood, air, and fire. But can you point to the flame as a separate thing?" The young man was silent. He realized the flame exists only through the meeting of causes and conditions. In the same way, this I exists only through the 5 aggregates. When those conditions fade, the I fades too. But this doesn't mean we don't exist at all. It means our existence is impermanent, without a fixed self that we can cling to. In everyday life, people hold tightly to this I, this me and mine. We think, this is my wealth, my body, my reputation, my family. And when any of these change or disappear, we suffer deeply. People compete, envy, and fight, all from the illusion of mine. A person with power fears losing it. A wealthy person fears becoming poor. And even within families, attachment turns to pain when loved ones change or pass away. The Buddha saw this clearly. As long as we cling to self, suffering will follow. Yet non-self does not mean emptiness or denial of life. It means seeing that we do not exist as isolated beings. We are part of a vast web of interdependence. This body comes from our parents, our breath from the air. Our life is nourished by rice, vegetables, water, and sunlight. Our mind is shaped by teachers, friends, and the love that surrounds us. To understand non-self is to awaken a sense of connection, humility, and gratitude. One who lives with non-self no longer sees separation, but recognizes themselves in all beings, and all beings in themselves. In the Diamond Sutra, the Buddha said, "All things that have form are illusory. If you perceive all forms as no form, you see the Tathagata." When we see that everything we hold on to is impermanent and conditioned, the mind naturally lets go, and peace arises. Non-self does not make us lose who we are. It frees us from the narrow cage of ego. When the small I disappears, the heart expands with love and understanding. Imagine a river. If it believes it's separate, it will dry up. But when it flows and merges into the ocean, it becomes vast and boundless. Humans are the same. When we cling to the self, we are small, afraid, and full of pain. But when we let go of the I, we become part of the great stream of life, our hearts overflowing with compassion. That is why the Buddha said, to understand and live with non-self is to walk through the gateway to peace. The one who sees beyond mine and me is free, unafraid, and serene, living gently in the present moment, while love flows endlessly like a river that never runs dry. The suffering of ego, the root of all mental pain. When the Buddha spoke about non-self, he wasn't offering a dry philosophy for debate. He was pointing directly to the root of all suffering. If non-self is the true nature of life, then attachment to self is the greatest misunderstanding of humankind. From that misunderstanding, endless suffering is born, like a river that never stops flowing. Most people don't realize that almost every worry, every conflict, every sorrow comes from protecting the image of I. Think about daily life. One careless word wounds our pride, and immediately the I rises up, demanding to be defended, to be proven right. We lose a small possession, and the mind stirs with agitation because we think, that was mine. When someone is more successful, more beautiful, or more talented, jealousy appears, because we identify too strongly with a fragile sense of self. Even our happiness, if built on ego, is unstable. We are afraid of losing what we cling to. We want to keep it forever. That's why clinging to self not only creates suffering, it also plants the seeds of fear, greed, and anger in every moment of our lives. The Buddha often said, "Those who cling to self suffer. Those who let go of self find peace." This is not a distant idea. It is a truth we can see every day. Remember the last time you were angry? Wasn't it because someone hurt your pride, made you feel disrespected, or looked down on you? And the last time you were sad, was it because you lost something you thought was yours? A relationship, a job, a possession, or even an image of who you believed you were? All pain arises from grasping at I and mine. There is a story about Venerable Sariputta, one of the Buddha's chief disciples. One day, while walking on alms round, someone accidentally bumped into him, causing his food bowl to fall and shatter. Instead of apologizing, the man shouted angrily at him. But Sariputta remained calm, his face peaceful, without a trace of anger. Later, a monk asked him, "Venerable, why didn't you get angry?" Sariputta smiled and said, "If I had thought, this is my bowl, this is my honor, then I would have felt anger. But I know that nothing is truly mine, so what is there to be angry about?" That is the serenity of a mind free from ego, a heart no longer ruled by the idea of self. When we cling to self, we start to see life as unfair. We compare constantly. Why am I suffering while others are happy? Why do I work hard but still fail? Why am I not recognized for my good deeds? Such thoughts breed resentment and bitterness. But if we look deeply, all these questions revolve around one thing: the self. When the ego feels hurt, we blame the world, other people, even the heavens. But suffering doesn't come from outside. It's created by the ego, and then the ego feeds on it. Even love can become a form of attachment. When ruled by ego, love turns into possession. We love someone and want them to belong to us, to follow our expectations, never to leave us. When they change, when they walk away, the pain feels unbearable. The Buddha taught that true love arises only in the spirit of non-self, loving without clinging, caring without owning. Because only when we let go of mine does love become vast, unconditional, and free. The Buddha once said, "Clinging to self is like mistaking a bubble for a jewel. When you grasp it, your hand is empty." The self, too, is a temporary illusion, a play of body and mind that changes from moment to moment. Reflect for a moment. How many wars in human history began with the words, "My land, my people, my truth"? If we truly understood non-self, there would be no reason to fight, no need to harm. Even the divisions between religions, families, and nations are born from ego. The bigger the I, the deeper the separation, and the heavier the suffering. The Buddha once said, "What is the greatest danger in the world?" He answered, "I." Because once we cling to the self, we will do anything to defend it, even harm others, even destroy ourselves. When we see non-self clearly, the mind opens, the chains fall away. That is why the Buddha called non-self the gateway to liberation. As long as we identify with this body, reputation, or possessions, we remain bound to suffering. But when we see that everything is only a play of causes and conditions, the heart becomes light. A flower blooms and fades. If we think, "This flower is mine," we grieve when it withers. But if we understand impermanence, we smile, enjoying its beauty in the present moment, without clinging. Life itself is just such a flower, arising from conditions, lasting for a while, and passing away. To live mindfully is to enjoy its fragrance, not grasp its petals. Thus the Buddha said, "Clinging to self is the root of all suffering." Seeing this truth gives us the courage to release the I. That is the first step toward true freedom, when the burden of me finally falls away and we awaken to peace. The path of letting go, the journey back to inner freedom. After seeing clearly the suffering that comes from attachment to self, a great question arises. How do we let go of the ego? This is the journey the Buddha himself completed, and the same path he left behind for us. A path not built on theory, but on living experience, practiced day by day, breath by breath. Letting go of the self does not mean denying who we are or living passively without purpose. It means learning to look deeply into the nature of life, to see that the I we hold on to is only an illusion, woven together by causes and conditions. When we truly see this, letting go happens naturally, like a ripe fruit falling from its branch, like a river flowing into the sea. The Buddha taught that the first step to releasing the ego is to contemplate impermanence. Every day, look closely at this body. Each cell is changing. Every breath comes and goes. Youth fades, old age approaches. Not a single moment stands still. If the self were truly independent, it would never change. But the truth is, everything within us is constantly shifting. When we realize this, we cling less to the thought, "This is me, this is mine. This body is not me. This emotion is not me. This thought is not me." Everything is simply a flowing stream within the great river of life. In the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha once held a handful of earth in his palm and asked the monks, "What do you think, monks? Which is greater, the earth in my hand or the earth on this vast continent?" The monks replied, "The earth in your hand, Blessed One, is very little." The Buddha said, "In the same way, what you call mine, what you cling to as self, is as little as this handful of earth. What is not self is as vast as the earth itself." Hearing this, the monks were deeply moved. They saw how narrow their attachments were compared to the boundless reality of non-self. The next step on this path is the practice of mindfulness. When the mind is mindful, it no longer gets swept away by thoughts like, "I'm right, I'm wrong, I want, I don't want." Instead, we simply notice, this is a feeling arising. This is a thought passing by. With such awareness, the I begins to dissolve because it has nowhere to hold on. Mindfulness is like a lamp that lights up the darkness, showing us that the ego is just a trick of the mind. Through this practice, we become calmer, lighter, less carried away by the waves of emotion. There is a well-known story from the Buddha's time about a monk named Vakali. He admired the Buddha deeply and followed him everywhere, just to look at his radiant presence. One day the Buddha asked, "Vakali, why do you keep looking at this body? This body is impermanent, subject to decay. Whoever sees the Dharma sees me. Whoever sees me sees the Dharma. Those words awakened Vakali. He realized that what mattered was not the form, but the truth of non-self beyond all appearances. From that day, he practiced seeing deeply into the arising and passing of all things, and through that insight, he found great peace. On the journey of letting go, compassion is another essential step. When ego rules the mind, we easily divide the world. This is friend, that is enemy. This is family, that is stranger. But when we release the ego, those walls collapse. We begin to see that all beings are interdependent, supporting one another to exist. From that vision, compassion flows naturally. A person free of ego does not love only those who belong to them. They love all beings because they see that no one truly stands apart. Letting go and compassion are like two wings of a bird. Without one, it cannot fly high. The Buddha once told his attendant, Ananda, "Some fear non-self because they think they will lose everything. But those who understand that self-clinging is suffering see non-self as freedom and rejoice." Letting go of self is not the end of identity. It's a return to our vast original nature, beyond the limits of the small ego. Like a drop of water that falls into the ocean, it does not vanish. It becomes the ocean itself. This path is not reserved for saints. It can be practiced in every small act of daily life. When you eat, remember this bowl of rice is not yours alone. It contains the sweat of farmers, the light of the sun, the rain, the soil, and the earth's nourishment. When you breathe, know that this breath exists thanks to the trees that offer oxygen. When you speak, remember your words are shaped by the wisdom of teachers, family, and experience. To live this way is to make every step, every breath, a meditation on non-self. Letting go doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. In fact, those who live without ego are more responsible because they know they are not separate from others. When you think, "I live only for myself," selfishness and carelessness arise. But when you see, "I and others are one," kindness comes naturally. You care for the environment, help others, because in doing so, you are caring for your own being. This is the freedom that non-self brings, no longer imprisoned by the small me, but open and vast like the sky. A Zen master once said, "Letting go of the self is like setting down a heavy stone. While you carry it, you suffer. When you put it down, you are free." No one forces us to hold it. We simply forget to release it. Practice is to recognize that truth and find the courage to let go. This release doesn't happen overnight. It is a long path of awareness, patience, and insight. Each time anger arises, jealousy appears, or pain returns, ask yourself gently, who is angry? Who is hurt? Is there truly a me being attacked? That question is the sword of wisdom that cuts through the chain of ego. And as the chain slowly falls away, you will feel lighter than ever before. No longer tossed around by praise or blame, gain or loss, success or failure. No longer worrying what others think, no longer fearing what might be lost. You begin to see life as a flowing river, and all you need to do is flow with it, fully present, deeply alive. That is the peace of the one who has learned to let go. Non-self, a heart of freedom and compassion. When people first hear about non-self, many feel a quiet fear inside. If there is no I, then what am I? Will I lose everything, even myself? But the truth is the opposite. Non-self does not mean losing who you are. It means discovering your true nature, the vast, open awareness that is already free. A person without ego does not fall into emptiness. They live peacefully, joyfully, with a heart full of love. If clinging to self is like locking yourself inside a narrow room, then living with non-self is stepping into an open field, breathing fresh air, and seeing the endless sky above. The Buddha said, "One who has no self is filled with love." Why is that? Because when you no longer see a wall between yourself and others, love flows naturally. A mother loves her child because she feels the child is part of her. The awakened one looks at all beings the same way, seeing that all are connected, all part of one great life. This vision dissolves the walls of selfishness and opens the heart to limitless compassion. A person free of ego does not love just one group, one family, or one nation. They love all, because they no longer see me and you. There is a story told in the scriptures. One day, while the Buddha was on alms round, a Brahmin approached him and asked, "Do you love yourself?" The Buddha replied, "Yes." The man then asked, "Do you love others?" The Buddha again said, "Yes." The Brahmin was surprised. He had always believed one could only choose, either to love oneself or to love others. The Buddha explained, "One who truly loves themselves also loves others, for self and others are not two. To harm another is to harm oneself. To love another is to love oneself." This is the heart of non-self. When the illusion of separation dissolves, love expands across both shores of me and you. The fruit of non-self is not only love, it is also freedom. Those who cling to ego live in constant fear. Fear of losing wealth, fear of losing reputation, fear of losing love, and even fear of losing the body itself. But one who lives with non-self is no longer trapped by fear. They walk through life lightly, like someone with no burden to carry. When success comes, they smile, knowing success arises from many conditions, not from me alone. When failure comes, they smile too, knowing failure cannot take away their true worth. Such a person lives in peace, untouched by praise or blame, gain or loss, fame or disgrace. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, "To conquer oneself is greater than to conquer 1,000 others in battle." To conquer oneself means to let go of the ego. When there is no I to protect, no I to prove, you become invincible, for nothing can truly harm you. That is the greatest strength of all, the strength of the one who has no self to defend. The person without ego also gains deep wisdom. Ego is like a veil that distorts our perception, making us see the world through I want and I don't want. When the veil is lifted, we see things as they are. This wisdom is not book knowledge, but clear seeing, a direct knowing that arises from stillness. It is the wisdom of awakening, the vision that leads to freedom. There is a story about Venerable Moggallana, known for his great spiritual powers. Despite his strength, he was once attacked and killed by enemies of the Dharma. Yet as he was dying, he felt no hatred, no fear. He simply accepted his fate as the natural result of past causes and conditions. To the ordinary mind, his death seems tragic, but to the enlightened heart, it was liberation, because there was no I left to cling, no mine left to lose. This is the fearless peace of one who truly understands non-self. The highest fruit of non-self is liberation from the endless cycle of birth and death. As long as we cling to I, we keep creating karma through greed, anger, and ignorance. As long as we believe there is a me to enjoy or suffer, we continue to be reborn. But when we see through the illusion of self, our mind no longer clings, no longer creates new karma. That is why non-self is the key to nirvana, the state of perfect peace beyond birth and death. Yet non-self is not only a lofty goal for saints, it is a truth to be lived and felt each day. Each morning remind yourself, this body is not me. This emotion is not me. This thought is not me. When anger arises, breathe gently and ask, who is angry? Is there truly a me that can be hurt? When sadness comes, reflect, this pain has arisen from causes and conditions. It will pass when the causes fade. With such awareness, each day we shed another layer of ego, and a new light of peace shines through. On the path of non-self, your heart becomes lighter, freed from jealousy, fear, and comparison. No longer struggling to protect me, you begin to open, to love, to understand, to live deeply. That is the sweetest fruit of non-self, inner peace and boundless compassion. If these teachings touch your heart, leave a comment to share your reflection. Your words may plant a seed of peace in someone else's soul. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so that together we can spread the light of love and awakening. Each act of sharing is like lighting one more lamp in the great ocean of the Dharma. Let us build together a community of peace, where everyone learns to let go of self, to live freely, and to let love flow beyond all boundaries.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for supporting Buddha's loving words. May the teachings of the Buddha continue to touch every heart, bringing peace and happiness.